mynews.studio.
Smokestacks are shrinking, even as economies keep growing. Can growth now actually mean less carbon instead of more?
Today is December 15th, 2025. We're seeing something that for a long time, most experts thought was nearly impossible. Fresh data from the Energy and Climate Intelligence Unit shows more countries are actually growing their economies while cutting carbon emissions. How did we reach this point?
It's a major change. For much of modern history, economic growth was almost always tied to rising emissions. But now, countries like Norway, Switzerland, and the UK have broken that pattern. Analysts call it absolute decoupling. The main drivers, cleaning up the power sector and putting strong climate laws in place.
What kinds of policies are we actually talking about? Is it mostly renewables, or is there more to it?
Renewables are central: wind, solar, hydropower. But there's also the rapid phase-out of coal and clear targets. The UK, for instance, has nearly eliminated coal from its electricity. Norway invested heavily in hydro and promoted electric vehicles. Switzerland combined renewables with energy efficiency and strict emissions rules.
And this isn't just something happening in wealthy countries, right? Are we seeing signs of decoupling in places like Brazil or Egypt?
Yes, and that's actually one of the most interesting trends. Countries like Brazil, Colombia, Egypt, Jordan, and Mozambique are making progress too. Their economies are expanding, but emissions aren't rising as fast. Sometimes they're even dropping. They're starting with clean energy projects and making climate policies that create jobs and tackle poverty at the same time.
China is always the big question. The report points out that China's emissions have been flat for a year and a half, even with steady economic growth. Is that the start of a real turning point?
It might be, but it's not simple. China still uses a lot of coal, and its industries need a huge amount of energy. If emissions have really peaked, that's a big deal. But for China and India too, absolute decoupling depends on how quickly they can move away from coal and build clean industries.
What's making it so hard for them? Is it just about coal, or are there other factors?
Coal is a major part, but also rapid urban growth, infrastructure that's already built around fossil fuels, and just the sheer size of energy demand. And policy matters a lot. Without strong incentives and clear goals, shifting the system is tough.
If a developing country wants to follow this path, what's their first step? Is it as simple as copying what Europe did?
Not quite. The main lesson is to start with no-regrets clean power, like solar, where there's lots of sun, wind, where it's windy. The focus should be on creating jobs and matching climate action to development needs. It's about solutions that fit local realities, not just importing tech from elsewhere.
So what does this mean for global climate targets, like the Paris Agreement? Does this make the goals more within reach?
It does. It shows that economic growth and emissions cuts can go hand in hand. The trend is slowing the rise of global emissions, and if it spreads, it could help keep warming below dangerous levels. It's not automatic, but it's a real possibility now.
But are global emissions still rising, or have we already hit a turning point?
Emissions are still rising, but much more slowly than before. The rate of increase has dropped a lot over the last 10 years. That shows the world is starting to create wealth without always increasing pollution.
Why should this matter to people who aren't policy experts?
Because it shifts the story. For years, the idea was, if you protect the environment, you have to give up economic growth. Now we see that growth and climate action can actually work together. That matters to leaders, businesses, and individuals everywhere.
And if more countries go this route, could it reshape how global economic and environmental policy works?
Yes, if decoupling becomes normal, countries will compete to innovate and clean up, not just to grow quickly. That could change trade, investment, and even how countries relate to each other.
So, if someone says economic growth and climate action can't go together, what's the best response?
Point to the evidence. Show them Norway, the UK, and China's flat emissions. The world is shifting, and the link between prosperity and pollution just isn't as strong as it used to be.
That brings us back to where we started. Economies are still growing, but the smokestacks are shrinking. Maybe it's not a trade-off after all.
Thanks for joining us as we explored how countries are breaking the link between growth and emissions and what it could mean for the world.
We covered policy, technology, global trends, and the main takeaways. Thank you for listening. This episode was brought to you by mynews.studio. Try it free.